Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. I'm your host, Sybil Amuti, and I can't wait for you to hear all of the Great Girlfriend magic on today's show. So without further ado, grab something great to drink, grab your pen and your paper, and get ready for this week's episode. Happy Wednesday, Great Girlfriends. We love y'all.
Yes.
Just jumping in. I am so excited because, first of all, I have Alechia Reese on. That's first of all. Second of all, third of all, fourth of all. And she is a transformation coach, best-selling author, international speaker, and host of Triggered AF and God Value Nation, the community that is also connected to her brand. But also, I'm so excited because every time, literally every single time Alechia and I get into a conversation, it's soul stirring. Every time. We can run into each other in the airport in Toronto. Okay. We could be on a boat. We could be at a party. It doesn't matter where we are. And she is a recurring guest on the podcast. So whether it be another podcast conversation, it's always soul stirring. So I am so happy. I invited Alechia on to be a part of this series, How She Did It, which is a conversational series dedicated to the sisters inside of the Glossy Posse, a sisterhood, a tribe like no other, where there's so many transformational success stories that I felt you all need to hear and know. Alechia, for me today, just kind of kicked me in my backside real quick. She just, she
I kicked you a gut punch.
She just, I was like, wait. This was not supposed to kick me. This is supposed to kick the listener, but apparently I am the listener. So Alechia just dealt with me very quickly before in the pre-podcast of the podcast, in a conversation that we're having about where she is in her life and some of the transformation that she's experiencing in real time. But I don't want to get into that yet. I just want to let y'all know that if I sound a little shaken and stirred, it's because I got gut punched before the mic was on. How you doing, Alechia?
Listen, I'm good, and I have chills because I wasn't even trying to gut punch you.
I know.
I wasn't trying. I promise.
I know. You just did it. That's the way God works, right?
Listen, that is exactly how he works. It's like, you need a little help. Let me go ahead and I can't just talk to you and tell you to do this thing. So let me help you feel this thing so that I can get the message across to you, because listening it hasn't always been my strong suit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little hard-headed, baby. So listening isn't always been my strong suit, but I feel so good to know that I'm cared about so much that even if I don't get it the second, the third, sometimes the fourth and the fifth time, he's going to round the corner and be like, okay, let's try this again. Maybe this way, me telling it to you, you will finally get it. And I finally got it. I'm excited.
I felt that. That's why that's what has my my skin like sort of tingling right now, is your thrill and your excitement matched the need in my spirit. And it was because you said that you're not going to run anymore from what you know your success, your value, your worth is tied to. Like, you're no longer going to pour it into other places. You're going to pour it into yourself.
Yes.
And it resonated so deeply because probably 5 episodes back, I talked about being in a new chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about how my network dropped me. It was a relationship that needed to end, that I wasn't going to end because I was comfortable. I said, I'll get to that later. Well, I'll drop them later, right? Well, the day after my birthday. Yeah. And I equated to having that relationship, that boyfriend that you like, I'm gonna drop him after the next trip or after the birthday or after that. I was like,
after the holidays.
Yeah, after the holiday. Let's get through Christmas, see how he show up. And then, okay, I was well overdue. I knew that it needed to end. I just didn't take the time to do it. So when they did it, actually, on my birthday, I spent my birthday talking to God. And I went to the ocean and I said, I'm releasing anything that is not of you for me. Now, get it out. I don't want this year of my life to have extras. I don't want anything that is not supposed to be there. So make it clear, make it plain. Well, the next morning I called the meeting, and in that meeting, they called the meeting to say that I was like, but can I call a meeting and you cut me? Can it work like that? I guess so. Because it just happened. And I had no complaint. I had no issue. I was like, thank you. Thank you. Because you did the thing that I needed to do. And it worked out in my favor because I knew that I was entering a new season and I knew that I needed to disrupt the comforts that allow for me to make excuses.
Disrupt the comfort.
Yep.
You just pinpointed it there. A lot of people get so frustrated and so irritated when discomfort or when schisms happen or when snafus come. But what that really is it is an invitation for you to, hey, you're not properly aligned. And
Yeah.
these schisms keep coming in the way they keep coming in different parts and areas and phases and stages of your life because you refuse to align for
Yep.
fear, for fright, for just I don't want to do that type energy. But when you can finally connect in and align to what you know for real, you are supposed to do, how you are supposed to move, what you are supposed to say, even if and when the thing hasn't necessarily changed yet, you have changed because
Absolutely.
you know, oh no, you can tell when you are in alignment and in connection. Just like with that boyfriend that you know, like, we're not really supposed to be together, but I'm gonna keep him until after this next little thing that I need. When you finally connect with the one you are supposed to be with, there is an interlacing and an interlocking that it's indescribable, but you know it, you feel it, you can see it, you can taste it because it's just that real to you.
Mhm.
That's what I'm feeling right now. It's wild.
It's so interesting because we've both given birth. And
Mhm.
so much about life and seasons is about birthing and being in alignment and understanding those stages of matriculation for the baby and for your body, that
Mhm.
preparedness that has to happen, that singleness that has to take place where you are actually prepared. That right around month 5, you think you're ready to give birth, but your body and the baby are not ready.
They are not.
There is no alignment, and
Mhm.
literally, if you do, you will have complications.
Yes.
Both you and the baby will have complications. But by month 9, you're like, you love your baby, but you like, if you don't get out of my body today,
Eviction notice.
eviction
Get
notice,
out.
you got to go. Me and you, we can't. I told my daughter, I said, it can't be 2 queens in here. It can't be. It can't be.
Right.
You got to go, sis.
You
Get her
got
out.
to
Get her out. But that happens when there is an alignment that takes place. And in the birthing process of any new thing or anything that I will say is even intended by God, it is so important to understand and be patient with the aligning that happens. It's so uncomfortable. It's so
go.
uncomfortable. You're stretched beyond your imagination. You
Yes.
can't below you, you can't see above you, you can't sleep, you toss and turn. There is no comfort. You could get a pillow if you want to try to put in the bed with you when you're pregnant. You need 12 of them to get comfortable. You just like, let me get a body pillow. You lean this
Mhm.
way, kick my leg over this side, and you're just making it through because there's preparation that's happening.
Yeah. And when you speak too about the preparation, I want us to remember whether or not you've had a baby, all of us have experienced pain, but for those who have
Yeah,
birthed a child, I want you to think about, you know, the difference between those Braxton Hicks and when they actually get to the piece where your body is preparing to bring forth life. You
absolutely.
know, there is a noticeable difference, and you don't know until you know. I thought the Braxton Hicks was something.
Yeah, yeah, you like, that's the one. And you like,
Okay, this has got to be the one. We ready. And then I got to that, okay, you're 7 centimeters dilated type of a contraction. And I was like, oh no, this is very different.
yes,
This is not the same. And the closer you get to bringing that vision, that baby, that new thing earthside, the more intense the pressure becomes,
yeah,
because you need that level of pressure to be able to prepare the orifice, which is your body, to prepare it to push out what it needs. If you start pushing at 8 centimeters, you are going to tear so bad that you could pass away
right.
because you're not ready. You're just not ready. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you cannot. It just means the orifice, your body, you're not ready. And if you take it out of, let's say, the birthing scenario, your mind isn't there. You can't manage $10,000. How will you manage $1 million?
Okay,
You're
I'm not leaving you
not
alone.
there.
Get out these people's house, get out the wallet, get out.
I'm
But you're not
just
there.
saying,
You're right. You're not there.
you're not there. You can't respond to one email and follow up the way you're supposed to. How you going to respond to 10? When someone is asking you to come on board to bring your gifts and talents, you're not there. So what you do in the interim as you're aligning, you prepare yourself. Just like your body is preparing yourself, whether or not you're able to actually nurse your baby, because I couldn't nurse mine. My daughter was allergic to my milk. We tried for 3 weeks and me and her almost lost our lives because she was allergic
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So whether or not your body is going to do what it needs to do, my body still prepared itself to nurse her because that is what it had to be prepared. So if your mind isn't yet prepared for what it is that you say you want, you will get to the mountaintop and knock yourself down the stony hill because your trauma is still there. You have not dealt with it. Your inability to manage money is not there. Your inability to manage people. You don't know how to keep your team together, how to get them on one accord. You don't know how to communicate your offerings. You are not there. And so what you do in the interim is you prepare yourself to get there. You can't tell me you want to go to Tampa, but you never book a flight, you never rent a car, you never gas up. You are lying. You are lying to you, and you are lying to all those you are talking to because you don't want to get to Tampa. You want to sit down and stay where you at, and that's okay, but I need you to be honest with yourself.
Mm. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Let me recalibrate. Let me recalibrate. You're not, and you're lying to yourself. So let's talk about that lie, that illusion. The thing I think
Mhm.
that so many people have bought into the idea of what they want, the illusion of what they want. Social media makes it easy for us to want the illusion, right? Like right? And so people buy the illusion. They are purchasing the illusion. They want the end result. People are so allergic to process, like it's like their skin itches, but you will have no proof without process. You literally will have no proof without process. The only reason we're sitting here 9 years later into this podcast is because of process, iteration,
Process.
evolution, process, consistency in process. That gives us proof that validates the thing that we want or that we see, right?
Mhm.
What is it that you think makes us afraid or fearful or makes us reject process?
Well, because process means you have to work. Like if you're going to make a cake, a strawberry cake, but only put lemons inside, and then get pissed off about the fact that it tastes like lemons instead of strawberries, it means you are going to have to, maybe you have to go to a different store. That means you have to maybe go out of your way because the one store you went to only had lemons, but you wanted strawberries. So that means you're going to have to go out of your way. You're going to have to get uncomfortable. In my experience, strawberries are much more expensive than lemons. I mean, unless y'all living in a place where it's the opposite. But every time I buy strawberries, it is exponentially more expensive than lemons. I can get me a good lemon for like 78 cents. And if I need it to be organic, at least 98 cents. For strawberries, I'm paying at a minimum for some organic strawberries, no matter the season, $4.99.
Right.
It takes more investment. Process takes ownership. It takes investment. It takes you being honest. And it takes you being willing to fail in front of people because you cannot hide under a bushel for the process. It requires you to grow in front of people. It requires you to go on the stage and speak when you're afraid. It requires you to make an investment, a monetary investment. I know that scares folks, but a monetary investment in getting better, in sharpening your skills and bettering your craft, or hiring people to do so. And for many people, they are terrified of the investment, of the level of ownership, of the level of honesty, and the level of resource development that you are going to have to put in because it takes more effort. A
Yeah.
lemon cake versus a strawberry cake, it takes more effort. Why? Because with lemons, I can just squeeze the juice and get the juice out. With strawberries, I got to mash. I got to put in a little more arm muscle. It takes more. They cost more. I have to clean a strawberry very, very differently than I have to do a lemon. A lemon, I could just, rub that thing under some water, wipe it off real quick, cut it, and I'm not utilizing the outside of it most times, unless I'm a good little zest. But even still, that's easier than what you have to do with the strawberry, because you can get whole infections if you don't clean the strawberries properly. It takes more effort. And most people, they think they don't want the process, but what they're really saying is they don't want to make the effort. And when you feel you are not worth the effort, you won't make a move.
Yeah. Yeah. And people don't want to sacrifice. And if you're not worth the sacrifice, you're not worth the effort, you're not worth the move. What's one sacrifice that you're making right now for you?
Oh, how real can we get?
Me, I know we were sacrificing spirits at one point. I
We
know
still are.
we're
Yeah, I'm not
still back.
drinking right now. I'm
But
not
you're back.
drinking.
Yeah.
I'm not, having sex. I'm not, and anyone who knows me knows, I enjoy the humans that God made, and I like playing with the humans that God made, and still I am sacrificing my desire for that because I know I have to do something different. I was not okay with living the rest of my life in the same place and position, receiving the same types of results that I'm receiving. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. And I was tired of the results that I was getting. So let me switch some of this stuff up. And please understand, it's since December last year, I stopped drinking in January. I've had 3 alcoholic beverages from January to now. When we're recording this, I stopped playing with God's children sexually like this year, December. And things did not, if anything, honestly, things got worse once I made the decision to stop those things. But
Yeah.
what I promised myself is no, I understand that as you get closer to birth, it gets harder.
Right. That's
I
right.
understand that.
Mhm.
Logically, physically, I felt it. So I understand completely. So as things started to get harder in my mind, I shifted my perspective to say, okay, it's getting tougher because I'm getting closer.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Yes. 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 You're closer.
I'm
You're
getting
close.
closer.
Yeah. Yeah. That is that thing. When we think about sacrifice, um, and we understand that sacrifice is you making an investment in a goal worth realizing.
Yep,
If you think that the
absolutely.
goal is worth realizing, you'll make the sacrifices that will get you towards the highest, best version of that, whatever that goal is, the
Yes.
most
Mhm.
refined, purified, quality version of that goal. That sacrifice can be anything. And great girlfriends, some of you, it already hit your spirit. You already know what you need to sacrifice without
Because
anybody giving you a list of stuff. It's just
that part. And you know what it is. And it's the thing that for me, it's the things that I love the most
yeah.
that I needed to, because they were distractors for me.
Yeah,
Now, for others, they may not be distractors for you.
absolutely.
What
I
I am tried and struggle with might not be the same thing that you are tried by and struggle with. Figure
Yeah.
out what that is for you. For me, I needed the clarity of mind, and I
Mhm.
couldn't get that continuing to do all the things that I knew helped to muddy the waters a little bit.
Right.
And
That's
so,
right.
what does it look like? To me, nothing is more important than dying empty. I
Yeah.
don't want to die with everything inside of me, because then I feel like God gonna send my soul back down to do this thing again. And I just really want to stay in the gates this next time.
Yeah,
I
like,
want to stay in the
was
gates.
getting my mansion set up and like do my thing. The soft life, the real true soft life.
The real soft life. I don't want to have to do this again, because he like, dang, she ain't get it this time. Let me try this again and send her soul right on back down. I don't want that. Okay. I want to die completely empty. I want it to be that when I'm on my deathbed, I can say, God, you gave me 5 talents, and I took those 5 talents and I maximized it, and I'm giving you back 20.
Yeah.
Please let me enter into your rest, because I'm tired.
Yeah. 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 Oh, it's so good. So, Alicia, when I think about that, for me, at one point last year, I ran into a TV show. I won't name without being paid, but it was a show that I fell in love with the show. I found myself watching it, and I was like, let me just watch one more, two more, three more. And I was like, I have straight up binged a season of this show before I knew it. And sending out emails saying I'm gonna get that deck to you next week. I'm gonna get this to you next week, right? So I traded the value of my time, one for a casual idol that was subtly replacing the success of the goal, the thing that I really wanted. And it took me taking the time to self-assess and go, what's
Mm-hmm.
not working? And
Yep.
do a time assessment. What have I done with the last week of time? What did I really spend it? Where did I invest it? Some
Mm-hmm.
place I spend it, other places I'm investing it. And what are the adjustments I need to make if I'm still working towards this goal, right? Because I do believe we need to look back and assess. So we don't need to look back and sulk or, try to
Yes.
reimagine yesterday, but
Mm-hmm.
evaluate so that we can take some things forward. For you, you realized that you needed to make those two sacrifices because they were going to hold you back and distract you. And distractions cost time, money, resource,
Yes.
feelings, emotional access,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, all those things. So, as a transformation coach, you hear a lot. You hear women give a lot of reasons, excuses, reasons,
Mm-hmm.
justifications as to why they're sitting in the space they're in. They haven't done the thing they want to do, or they feel unprepared, or inadequate for whatever they're called to do. What are some of those reasons that you hear?
The biggest reason is I don't have time. That is
Yeah,
hands down what I hear the most. Well, I don't
yeah,
have enough time. And so because I'm a very practical person, anyone who knows me knows and I tell people all the time, because I grew up super religious, I never understood the parables. King James Version was not something I understood. Give me my good New International Version where you're speaking to me in plain English. So
yeah,
I like to be very practical. So I said, okay, bet, let's break down your 24-hour day. What? Why we got to do that? Because you said you don't have time.
yeah, yeah.
So you don't have time. So cool, let's break it down, right? Okay, what time do you wake up? I had a client. She told me, she's like, well, I wake up at 5 a.m. I was like, okay, great. What do you do as soon as you wake up? I pick up my phone. Okay, no judgment. Again, this is just assessment, right? So, okay, you pick up your phone. All right. And then how long are you on your phone? She's like, oh, well, I'll be on there for about an hour, hour and a half. Okay. So now we're at 6:30. What are you doing at 6:30? She's like, well, I'm hopping into the shower. Cool. How long is that? To shower, get dressed, all the things. 30 minutes. All right, bet. Now we're at 7 a.m. What's next? She's like, well, I grabbed me a cup of coffee, a little muffin or something, and I'm leaving the house. Cool. How long is your commute? An hour. God dog. But okay, again, we're just assessment.
Yes.
Assessment. Okay. So now we've gotten you to where you're now at what? 8:30. You're in the office. What are you doing? Okay, so run down the rest of the day. Run down the rest of the day. Once you're off, what are you doing? She's like, oh, well, I go and I take care of my goddaughter, granddaughter, one of the daughters. I was like, okay, how long are you doing that for? She's like, oh, well, about 3-4 hours. Okay. Does goddaughter, granddaughter, one of the daughters, do they have a parent? Are they in school? Like,
Right,
and we got it down to the fact of per day, she was losing 5 to 6 hours doing absolutely nothing that was aligned with what she said she wanted. And
right.
so we took those 5 or 6 hours and it was like, how can you better allocate this to where you're still showing up in the way that works for you? Because she didn't even like watching the granddaughter, goddaughter, whoever the daughter. She was
Yeah,
just doing it because it was what she always did.
yeah.
And so I always challenge people to don't show me or tell me what you've always done because clearly that's not working for you. You were in a posture, a position, or a place where that doesn't work. So what you've always done, thank it, for it getting you to this point. But now what does it look like to truly tell yourself the truth and make an assessment as to where is their time, where is their space, what can you do to get some help on in this thing so that, okay, if let's say you truly don't have any hours in the day,
Mhm,
what can we delegate to
mhm.
have someone else to do it? So for me, I used to lose about 4 hours a day in transit, driving
Wow.
to and from to get my daughter from one place to the other.
Yeah,
What I did, I said, okay, this year I'm not willing to do that. I found her a school that aligned with all the things that I wanted, 8 minutes from my house. That
perfect.
alone gives me back 2 hours in my day.
Mhm. Yep.
It's
And energy.
adjusting energy, energy. It's figuring it out. You say you don't have time. Okay, cool. Make an assessment to see where all your time goes.
Mhm.
Where your time goes. And if you're like, oh, I don't know what happens to it, look on your cell phone, go in the settings to see how long do you spend on social media? How
Girl.
long are you playing the games? And it's no disrespect. This is literally, you're not judging yourself. You're just taking an honest and accurate assessment so that you can make changes based on what you say you want. I always start with the end in mind.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Because this is the thing. Many of us in our careers do SWOT analysis, right? One of the things in the Great Girlfriends community, I'm always enforcing. I'm like, have you done a SWOT analysis? Have you done a good old SWOT to take a look at? It can be around your grocery list. It can be around your parenting, whatever. You can segment it to something specific, but a time SWOT, like get in there and take a look at it and see how it's being utilized and see where the opportunities are and see the threats. There are some threats to our
Major
success.
threat.
Yeah, yeah. For you, I love that you got that commute down to 8 minutes. That's 16 minutes a day. That feels so much more empowering than spending those hours in traffic that are they are back-breaking hours in traffic. They really truly are. Yeah.
Yes, I was
Oh,
literally going through changes because of all the driving I had to do. I
yeah.
used to have to work in my car all day long because I didn't have enough energy to drive her to the school and drive back and drive again and drive back. And it's like, this doesn't work. And
Hmm.
the thing too is it wasn't an immediate change.
Yeah.
I still had to wait until her school year was finished with the other school before she started at a new place.
Hmm.
But for me, I had a little more pep in my step because I said,
You
no, I
do.
now have a plan.
Yes. You're
Okay.
like, hope is in your heart. Like you're like, something is shifting soon, and I know it.
I
Yeah.
have a plan to fix this. I can adjust this. And
Yeah.
so too, I feel we get discouraged because we've made an adjustment and we expect the outcome to be immediate. Your life is not a microwave. You don't put, tap in a few things and you press the start button and it does its thing for a couple minutes and then you ta-da, voila, magic. It's changed. Now there are instances like that in a blink of an eye, in a twinkle of an eye. Yes, all things have been changed, made new, renewed. Yes. However, sometimes it takes it a little bit longer to materialize in the natural world. So what you have to do, and this isn't going, you know, I still believe in God and still also believe in the universe that he created that is ran by energy and vibrations and everything else. You don't have to understand science to know, what it's like if you've been in a church service and you feel the energy shift because the spirit of the Lord it was invited and comes in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing here.
Yeah.
If you don't stay on the vibration, right? The vibration is like, ooh, ordering a pizza to be delivered at your home address, but you keep leaving your home address to go to everybody else's house and then getting mad that the pizza is not being delivered to the address that you sent it. The pizza man is there. He's
Yeah.
knocking on your door, but you keep leaving out the back door to go to everybody else's house, expecting the delivery that you ordered to your house to be there when that's not how this works.
Right.
You have to stay. If you decided you want something, you have to stay on that same vibration, at that same address, at that same location until you receive it, putting forth the actions can be you got to have the money to pay the delivery guy once he gives you your pizza.
Hmm.
And if it's not cash money, okay, you got to go find the credit card, or okay, you have to make sure you can tip him, or okay, you got to make sure you turn on the light because your house might be a little bit harder to find. So you have
Right.
to make yourself more visible.
Yeah.
Figure out what you need to do to identify exactly what it is that you want. Focus only on that. When
Mhm.
I said I wanted a specific thing, I couldn't keep wavering and changing because then you keep sending the delivery guy or you keep leaving. So the delivery guy, even though he knocking, trying to like, yo, I'm out here with your food, you
Yeah.
out here got your stomach touching your spine because you're not in place.
Yes,
You're
that's
not
right.
in place.
Got to get in place. You know, one of the things that I hear people say they are short of being the great girlfriend community is support. I hear it all the time. I get the emails, I get the DMs, I hear the complaints. That's easy for you to say, Sybil, that support is possible, that friendship is this. But my experience in my city, or my experience in my community, or my experience with Black women, or my experience has been opposite of that.
Yeah.
And,
Mm-hmm.
I will preach from every rooftop that my friendships, my relationships, my girls, my people are the ones that have done everything in my life to propel me forward. I'm not talking about people that didn't do what they said they were going to do. I'm not talking about them.
Because
They don't
that's
matter.
irrelevant.
They're
They
not like,
don't matter.
they
You
don't
focused
matter.
on the wrong
I'm
thing.
talking about the people that when I say, can you speak? Here comes Alicia.
Yeah.
When I say, can I have a consultation? Here comes so and so. When I say, hey, I'm looking
Mhm.
for sponsors, here comes so and so.
Yes.
Always, my friends, my girlfriends have been an anchor, a fixture. My mother's girlfriends have been an anchor, a fixture. My friends' girlfriends have been an anchor, a fixture. That has been, for me, my foundation for building relationship and curating relationship. Alicia, what do you say to the woman who is saying, I'm struggling with that? My friends don't show up. I don't feel like I have friends like everybody
Mhm.
else. I see you, Alicia. You're everywhere. You got great friendships. I see you smiling. I see you on stage. I see you on trips. Like, you have it. And I would like to have that too, but I don't have it. What would you say to her?
Whatever you focus on magnifies. If you only focus on the folks who never show up, who never do, who never keep their word, you're going to keep inviting into your world experience. You're going to keep inviting that in because that's all you focus on. I can't tell you the people who have betrayed me or whatever. I have a whole funeral. Maybe it's the Taurus in me, but I have an entire funeral for them in my head and I dismiss them. I thank them for their service and dismiss them from my universe because you don't get to stay here because a man that wants friends must show himself friendly. A woman who wants friends must show herself friendly. So for me, I knew I wanted some friends who would show up, who would support me in ways that mattered to me, who would be willing to help me if I needed the help. So I became that. If
Yes.
my friend says she needs something and I know it's within my capacity to do it, okay, I'm going to show up. Even if I have to rearrange and shift some things, I'm going to rearrange and shift some things. And I'm going to prepare to be able to give to that friend what I know they need because I started to show up as who I needed first. And then I was willing to adjust my circle. I don't believe in no new friends, lies. Give me the new
Please give me.
friends. And I keep the old ones too.
Bring 'em. Yes, all
I
of them.
keep them too, but
Yes.
everybody coming along.
Yes, that's
For
right.
me, I'm not focused on who didn't do what they say they was gonna do. That's a personal thing with them. They're working on keeping their word to themselves. So yeah, they're gonna have a hard time keeping their word to me because they don't keep it to themselves. And that's okay. I just connect with those who do, those who align, those who don't. Like I'm not trying to force somebody to like me. Why are you doing all that? Go to where they like you at. Stop
Yeah.
trying to date people who don't like you. And I'm talking about you can date your friends. I date my friends. We go on dates,
Yes.
all the time because we grown and the way these schedules be working out. But
Yeah,
when
but
we
we
do,
do.
yes, it's been 6 months, but we there.
But we there.
We
That's
there.
it. That's it.
Yeah.
I think, Alicia, this is gonna hurt somebody's feelings, but I have to say it because it's important. I think
Yep.
sometimes we're more pitiful than we know. And right? Okay. I
It's
know.
the truth though.
Chin up
You
somebody.
want to be a victim so bad.
But
You
you're
want
so
to
pitiful, and no one wants to come to a pity party. Literally, not even
no,
you. No one
right.
wants to come to a pity party. Consequently, you find yourself repelling people who would traditionally be attracted to you, your spirit, your life, your joy. If you could find the joy with within, like if you could find your own joy, if you can find a happy dwelling space here, if this becomes an oasis, everyone wants to be around someone who has learned to appreciate themselves as an oasis.
Yes, I
Yeah.
always say because I love women. Lord knows I do. Like my sisterhoods have saved my life, have expanded me professionally, have literally supported me in ways that I didn't even know I need. And many of them, they're like, I'm not asking for anything back. I just want you to know that I got you.
Yeah.
However, The only way I got to that, and it was a friend of mine who said it's called a relationship currency. She was like, you bring so much joy to the most dark situations that for me, if it's an opportunity for me to be with you or go out somewhere with you or whatever, because I don't like to party, y'all. But if it's an opportunity, I like my naps and my bedtimes. Like, but if it's
Yeah,
an opportunity, she was like, I want to be with you because you make it such an enjoyable experience. But I
right.
did not get to that place without, for me, it was how can I play? Like if you watch children when they're first learning, they teach them how to hold things and how to find their head through play. They put them on the mat and tell them to go play. But somewhere we become adults and we forget like, hey, you too can still play to learn. It's how you learn quickest anyway.
That's
And
right.
so I always tell, like, not just my clients, but folks in my community and even my friends, you do all this work. You know how to get the job done, but you do not know how to play. So you are a miserable human being. I love you to pieces, but you are miserable. And it can be miserable being around you sometimes
Yeah.
because you continuously default to what's not working. You consistently default to how everybody does you wrong. And if it's everybody, you the common denominator, but we're not going to talk about that. And so what I suggest is if you are having a difficult time finding joy, being happy, or shifting your energy, find you one or two things that will allow you to play and you
Yeah.
figure out what that is. For
Yeah.
me, it's aerial hoop. I feel like a kid in a candy store when I go into that session and I see that hoop and they have put it up and they got the mat underneath and the hoop is coming out the ceiling. I'm like, oh my God, it's time for me to play.
Yes. 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 I love
Figure out what that is.
that. Oh, I love that so much. I think play is so important. I think it also lightens your heart, lightens your mind. You forget to think about the things that stress you out when you're playing. You forget. And then
Yeah,
you realize how valuable joy is. So you place more value on joy than you do on pain, right? Because you start,
exactly.
yeah. Right now, there are people who, place a lot of value, a lot of emphasis and attention and attraction to the pain in their life.
Mhm.
And that's their sell point. And
Yep.
that trauma is their sticking and sustaining point. And as
Yep.
long as you cling to it, it will forever be the most valuable thing in your life. And
Yeah.
the people who have found themselves free from it will always be repelled
Yes.
they will be repelled. They will
Yes.
constantly be, but those of us that have recognized the beauty of play and joy
Mhm.
and a light heart and sunshine and beauty and hope have found that that is such a rich and sustainable place that we only want to dwell there. And then when you get there, you meet so many other people that have been waiting on your joy.
Yes. Who are excited to commune
Lighter
with
side of
you.
you. Yes.
Yes. They
Never wanted
want to
to fight with
commune.
you in the first place. They only wanted to enjoy you, but you wanted to fight, so they had to put you on the side. And when you become enjoyable, people actually want to be around you. I will say this, Alicia, when I was going through, when my father passed 4 years ago, and I was in such like, oh my goodness, I was so heavy. I couldn't
Mhm.
even, I don't even know. I didn't have words for it. I was my
Yeah.
heaviest self. And I had these spurts of joy, but honestly, I was low.
Yeah.
I gave myself permission to be low. And
Yes.
told the people in my life, right now, I'm tender. I'm raw.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
don't know how I'm showing up. I
Mhm.
don't know how I'm showing up, but I need you to be patient with me. And
Mhm.
one of my girlfriends she brought me to ooh, she poured so deep. She said, Sybil, you have been grace, you have been joy, you have
Yep.
been light for so long. Of course, we
Of
have
course.
space for your down moment. Like, of course,
Yep.
there's
Yep.
room for you to be low. Of course, meaning the majority of the time,
This
you
is who
know,
you are anyway.
yeah. So of course I've
Yeah.
got room for you. But if you're the low, the majority of the time, I don't have room.
It's no room in the end. It's
Because
no
you
room in
just
the end.
always do this. This is what you do. But this is my Trump hands. This is what you do. But because, but because, but because you are majority light. Of course, there's grace for this space. I want to encourage somebody with that. Just you got to shift the narrative, and like you said, you are magnifying and focusing on the wrong thing. It is holding you back. It is separating you from the people you really want to receive you in a different way. They just don't know how because they don't have room for garbage.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you're trying to take your trash out to to a fine dining restaurant.
It's like
They
we
don't
don't listen to
accept
how we
that's you can't even come in the front door like carrying that. You got to, I'm sorry, you got to go around back. And
where you
then once you get
go to
around back, you
Ramada.
might not be able to come through because we still don't accept that in this place. We don't, that's not what we allow. And it's
Hello.
not to say, like you were saying, like you don't go through things, because please understand, I have gone through more things than I care to admit in the last 3 years, but because who I am at my base is I am joyful. And if you're not, and you say, okay, well, there's something different or deeper, there are therapists, there are psychiatrists who can prescribe you some medication because let's say you need help. I'm not into the toxic positivity or, oh no, everything's always great when it's
No,
not. No,
no.
that's not what I'm saying. I am saying if you know your baseline is negative, it's dark, it's angry, it's frustrated, it's scared, it feels unsupported. Hey, there's some deeper work that you need to do. And what I would suggest, and this is what I started doing, I started writing out all the things that I felt were wrong in my life. Why? Because for most people, they can always find a negative before they find a positive.
Mhm.
And so I started writing down all the things that were going wrong, the things that were messed up. And please don't think that because we're sitting here on this podcast that life has just been a bed of roses and peaches. No, this joy is a choice. This
Hello.
is an intentional choice that we have made to be happy in spite of, regardless of. This is that agape type joy. You know how, and for those who don't know what agape means, it means to love in spite of
Yeah.
instead of because of. So
Mhm.
I don't love or I don't enjoy something because I have this. No, in spite of the major challenges that I have experienced, I still have decided I'm going to marry joy. I'm going to make love to joy. We going to go and traipse along the sea because I like me a little water. I'm a Florida girl, y'all. I'm not crazy like most Floridians, so sorry if you're still in Florida, but y'all know y'all got something going on down there. But I'm a Florida girl, so I love the water. So
Yeah.
I'm going to traipse, I'm going to enjoy, I'm going to figure out, because life will happen to us all. I'm going to see where can I find the pieces where maybe I've learned something, or the pieces where no, I needed that to get me to this. I'm going to figure out how can I find some way to tap into joy. Sometimes I can't go to aerial hoops, so I'm gonna go to me some Pilates.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can't go to Pilates, so I'm gonna go on down to Whole Foods or the farmer's market so I can get me a good old piece of chicken or fish so that I could cook it up and just fix myself a really good tasting meal. I'm going to find something that brings me joy. Sometimes I'm going to get on my phone and I'm going to play the little game called, I'm not going to tell you what it's called, but I'm going to play it because they're not paying me for that. But I'm going to play the game on my phone that allows me to disconnect and tap into some literal kitty type joy. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a big thing. Or I'm gonna maybe hop on a plane, business class, to go over to the other side of the world and sip mocktails while I'm letting Frenchmen, bring me my meals. Whatever it is for you.
Yes,
Okay.
whatever it is. Yeah.
Whatever it is. And we went
And
from the
you
top
should
to the
have a
bottom.
big and a small. You really should. You should have some like, let me just play this game real quick, or let me just, book a flight or get a room or, staycation. So like you should have a spectrum. So you're
Yes.
never just stuck on one. Yeah.
Yes. And then two, be willing to, hey, let me try something different. Let me try skating. If skating didn't work because you busted your behind and you ain't like that, okay, don't do that no more. Let me try hiking. Okay, hiking didn't work. You almost twisted your little ankle, or you almost hurt your back going up the side of that little mountain. That's fine. Try things. We
Yeah.
feel like, oh, I'm this age, it's too late. Are you dead? If you are not dead, you can try something. Google events in your city and go by yourself. And if you're too terrified to go by yourself, find you a girlfriend who's willing to do whatever, or try what, well, not whatever, but within reason, willing to try some things with you. And y'all just pick out one activity a month. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be that you stay in a place that does not work for you because you are making a choice. And it sounds harsh and it sounds mean, but you have decided that you love misery. And because you love misery so much, you're going to lay down with it the way I lay down with joy. And until you get up and say, misery, I thank you so much for being my comfort when I needed you. Right now, you can't come with me to this next place. I'm going to try something different, and I'm going to commit to consistently trying something different until I find the thing for me. I tried so many activities before I found aerial hoop, and I am in love. I love it.
because you're curious. You gave
Yes.
yourself the space, and curiosity belongs to all of us. It doesn't stop after grade school. It's an eternal trait that will
Yes.
allow you to experience the world in a new way every
Mhm.
single day.
Every day.
Every single day.
Yeah.
And I love you.
I love you
I love you.
too. I
You
love
make me
you
just, you
too.
make my heart so proud. Like, I just love you.
Oh, thank you.
Love you. I can't tell you that enough. So I will spend my days telling you how proud I am of you and how much I love you and how much I beam just hearing your wisdom and just seeing you. Like I love you. I'm grateful to know you for so long. Jeez,
It's been
girl,
years,
it's
Sybil.
been years. Like our kids are teens. This is crazy.
Yes. When we met, they were so, I think it's been over 10 years at this point.
It's been a while because they were littles. Yeah.
Yes, they were, I think my daughter was 4 or 5 when I met. So it's been 9 or 10 years. And she's
Yes.
14 now, about to be 15. And I remember you saying you had small kids. And I was like, what? You have multiples? Because for me, that was wild for somebody to be willing to date
It
multiple
still
times.
is. Girl, I got all these kids. These two to go from 0 to 2 is a lot. That's a 200% increase. Okay.
That's 200%. But you know what? In terms of growth, I mean, see, look at you. You are doing the thing. You grow exponentially. Don't you love that for yourself? You grow
I
exponentially.
do. I love that for myself. The
It's
end.
always the
Yeah.
perspective. You get to decide, how you're going to view it, right? Like, and even the tough times, right? So I can view it as I married someone who it didn't work out, and now I have to raise my child not by myself, but in our home without her other parent. You can look at it as woe is me. Oh, it's so dark. Oh, it's the worst. Or you can shift it and say, you know what? I was gifted an amazing human who is doing some phenomenal things because in healing myself to ensure that I'm showing up best for her, I get to see what it looks like for someone to live without going through all of the trauma I've experienced. What that looks like, how she shows up in the world, how she gets to live a life where she gets to be light.
Yeah.
You get to decide how you will see it. And again, it's not about lying to myself because I also believe in deeply feeling my feelings. I
Mhm.
sat through the sadness of something not working out, something that I really, really wanted to work out. I sat through that sadness and said, okay, where was I a co-conspirator in my own suffering? Where was I not listening to the things that I was seeing and deciding to make different decisions? Where was the other person wrong too? All right, cool. Now that I have deeply, like you said, you allowed yourself to deeply feel and grieve the loss of your father. It's okay to deeply feel your feelings, but you can't
Right.
stay there. That's a rest stop.
That's right. It's
You
just
got to
a,
get back on the road. It's a rest stop. You're not supposed to make house there.
that's
But you
right.
do get to rest and feel your feelings. You get to feel every bit of it. The
Mhm.
way they treated me when I was a child was horrific. It
Mhm.
was it was wild. They were so physically abusive. And if anyone has seen me stand, I'm like 5'2" on a good day. It's really a
Yeah.
lie. My license say 5'2", and I'm only 5.5 an inch. I'm not even 120 pounds right now. And I was much smaller when I was younger. I'm like a little rag doll. And so
Right.
for grown people, women, to beat on me the way they did when I was a child, I should be such a bitter human. But instead of feeding myself that story, well, oh, I'm not worth it, or oh, clearly I'm not worthy because they didn't like me, or they beat me, or they did this, I flip it to say, the experience that I had then, it makes me so incredibly understanding of people who are going through something. And
Mhm.
I know what real joy feels like because I'm unfortunately blatantly aware of what real pain feels like. And
Mhm.
so I'm going to ensure that I don't inflict that on somebody else, even if and when I'm having a day that doesn't feel so good.
Yeah.
Yes, every day you wake up, it makes it a good day. And also, okay,
And
some of these
also,
days are more challenging than the others.
and also, yes,
Also. So
yes.
just shift your perspective. Tell yourself a story that allows you to move past it because your pain points, your grief, your areas of opportunity, those are rest stops. You are not supposed to build your house there and settle.
Ooh, okay. That's it.
We good. We done.
You have like you've given so much. So much. Like I can't thank you enough, Alechia. That's it. That's it. that's what this episode needed. That's what we needed to talk about today. We had our talking points, but this
We
is
did.
what needed to happen. This is what needed
We
to
were
happen.
ready. Like we have them. We're ready to
This
go.
was what needed to happen. Alechia, where can the Great Girlfriends keep up with you? Where can people book you to speak? Where can they book coaching? Where can they listen? Give us all the details.
I mean, all the deets. You can go anywhere. I'm all over Beyonce's internet at Alechia Reese. Alechia, last name Reese, Reese. Literally, that is my website. That is where all of my social handles are. One of the things too that I really, really want you guys to go to triggeredafevents.com. There is a program there. It is called the 7 Agents of Change. The most difficult thing for anyone to do is change. It is the hardest thing to do. And what we've done is we have taken 7 simple steps, and it ain't no long drawn out nothing because I got ADD and listening to something for too long, I check out. But it is a super simple program that walks you through the steps to change and to create and to design a life you love, not one you tolerate, not one that you can't stand. It helps you to literally create a life you love. And so go there. It is incredibly helpful. And yeah, stay connected. I talk back when you DM, but give me some time because I get a little overwhelmed. So I'd be taking days to respond, but I'm going to respond. Okay. Just may take me a couple of days to do so.
I understand. I'm the same way. I understand. We understand. We understand, don't we, great girlfriends? We get it. We get it.
It's a lot. Social media be a lot.
Social media be a lot. Alechia, thank you so much for your time, for your attention, for your devotion, for your evolution. Your becoming is so beautiful. I love every version of you, and I just am so grateful to journey with you. And I can't thank you for being back on the Great Girlfriends show. Great girlfriends, show her all the love you can by DMing, by following, by getting into the program, by supporting her, letting her know you heard her here, and also paying attention to her podcast. Make sure you listen to Triggered AF and your
Got Value podcast.
Got Value podcast. So make sure you check out both. Thanks for listening today. Peace. All right, great girlfriends. Did you enjoy this week's episode of the podcast? If so, would you please give us your amazing review on iTunes? Every single review helps another great girlfriend get plugged into the podcast and the community. Speaking of community, make sure you join our Facebook group at The Great Girlfriends. Follow us on Instagram at The Great Girlfriends and on Twitter at @the_greatGFS. I'm Sibylla Muti, and I'm out.